Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Wise Decision Maker Show, where we help you make the wisest and most profitable decisions. As always, my name is Dr. Gleb Tsipursky. I'm the CEO of Disaster Avoidance Experts, the future of work consultancy that sponsors the Wise Decision Maker Show. Today with me is Daniel Lozano, the CEO and founder of KindWorks.AI. And we'll find out about KindWorks later onward. But first of all, Daniel, I want to ask you, what do you see as the future of remote work and how companies are supporting remote work? Because there are definitely some challenges with supporting remote workers. So what do you see as the future of how companies will be supporting remote work?
Thank you so much. I'm delighted, Dr. Gleb, to be here with this fantastic audience. And the challenges, as you were mentioning, in how people are working today are huge, right? There's 77% burnout rates in many of the top countries. I just came from like 4 months of traveling across Europe and the US, across different cities. And, it is clear that even the highest skill is showing, important symptoms and show that things need to change. Like even if people work remotely, the way people work needs to change. And one of the conclusions from the HR leaders, as well as many of the employees, is that similar as you buy a product today, as you go and you buy your Apple Watch, you unbox it, and every single step is part of your user experience, your employee experience is equally or even more important than just the work you do itself. So in that sense, the onboarding process, when you do that remotely, doing that effectively is very important. How you work with the people you are, and that not every call becomes transactional is very important. And in that sense, the future of work in many ways is, working hybrid or remote, and in a way that every single person develops meaningful relationships with the people they work with, even if they work remotely, that people feel that they're making massive impact at work every moment, that the levels of job satisfaction and motivation are consistently up. And those are huge challenges, and also putting within the context today where, of course, there are reorganizations happening in companies, and companies need to find ways to keep their morale and their teams bringing their best game to the work.
Now, some companies might hear you say that and say, well, why do we need to do remote work? Maybe we should just bring everyone back to the office and do things the way we've always done. So what would you say to those leaders to tell them that there are some good reasons to do remote work, hybrid work, or do you think that there aren't any good reasons?
So what, within these 4 months, what we found is that the top talent and the people that can deliver incredible outcomes have many choices, and of course, yes, thanks to, the softening in the economy and other things, perhaps, in some areas, things have softened up, but particularly in the top talent that you need to do and the critical things to achieve incredible results, that's still very tight. That's still very competitive. And in that sense, if you want to retain your top people, if you want to attract the top people, if you want to be able to have an environment with outstanding results, there's no other way to do it than offering, a great work experience. A great work experience can mean, for some companies and for some industries, can mean flexibility. A great work experience can mean that even if you work in person, that you're developing meaningful experiences, that every person feels a sense of agency, and that you have a culture where every person can bring their best selves. In my perspective, what I've seen across the world and with, top level, C-level executives, is that hybrid seems to be kind of the most common approach. But of course, things change by industry, team size, and other things. And I think it's not that you're not going to achieve results being hybrid, you're not going to achieve results being fully in person, unless you have a culture where every person has the ability to thrive and has the motivation and the impact that leads them to bring outstanding results.
Mhm. Yes, I've helped 21 companies transition to hybrid. And one of the things that links to what you're saying about employee experience is that a lot of companies, a lot of leaders, especially I see middle managers having challenges with this. They have challenges in that they want to shoehorn office-centric methods of managing employees into hybrid work, into remote work. And that just doesn't work very well because the employee experience in a hybrid setting and in a remote setting is tangibly different. You need to be much more intentional, not just go on autopilot in order to manage employee experience as well and have the best outcomes. So when we're thinking about this experience for employees, the employee experience in hybrid work and remote work, how do managers need to manage differently in that sort of context? What do they need to do differently?
I think, look, in a person's, motivation or drive, there's three components, right? The first one is the sense of agency that people feel that they can still, even if they're working remotely, that they can still make decisions, they can still drive results. The second one is the meaningful relationships, that people feel that they're developing meaningful relationships with the people they work with, and that it's not something that is completely transactional. And the third one is that people feel a consistent sense of purpose, right? That what they're doing in work makes the world a better place. And we can talk about KindWorks later, but overall, those are kind of the principles and why KindWorks has been so successful in hybrid environments and remote environments, to get people to feel that they are making a huge impact, to help people develop meaningful relationships, and also to help people feel a consistent sense of purpose by enabling people to consistently do acts of kindness. That it's one of the most powerful tools people have to boost, these three components that are critical for the well-being, for people to feel a sense of purpose, for people to feel trust at work, for people to be productive, for people to feel the levels of confidence, connectivity, optimism, and resiliency to drive outstanding results. And that's actually how our company internally in KindWorks operates. Our team has never met each other. And it's the results are incredible. We work with the most demanding and high-performing organizations in the world. And, I haven't received a single complaint from our customers, but more requests for expansions and, increasing the impact that we're having with them.
So tell me a little bit more about how you created the company. What was the impetus behind that? And tell me a little bit more about your entrepreneurial journey and where KindWorks is right now.
So, 5 years ago, before the pandemic, many of the things, I was in a very difficult situation because, well, I work for an incredible company called Cisco. I was working in the US office. There's this famous H-1B lottery system that I didn't get, the lottery. And fortunately, we've had some successes and good launches with Cisco. And in that sense, Cisco was, when I didn't get the lottery, Cisco was graceful enough to relocate me to London. So then I left, a storage room in San Francisco with all the things, the plan to go back at some point. I was able to also on the side in London do my master's in software engineering at Oxford, became president of the AI Society at Oxford as well, and became product manager of one of Cisco's most important launches in 2019 in terms of artificial intelligence, called Cisco AI Network Analytics. And at that point, we executed the launch with Cisco. It was fantastic. At some point, we got too many customers. And at that point, of course, leadership asked, is like, we need all our product managers to be in headquarters. We started all the relocation process, but unfortunately, logistics timelines didn't work. And, I couldn't do it. And Cisco was super kind with me, but they told me, look, we've done so many exceptions with you, we can't do any more. So you either can take a sales role in Europe, which is a fantastic organization, or you'll have to find something else. And at that point, also my sponsorship of my visa depended on Cisco. There were, it was a very difficult moment. I had a team that I loved, but a lot of uncertainty ahead of myself. And I actually had to fly to San Francisco, to empty the storage room that I had because there was no return on the initial plan. So I was taking out things from the storage room, and I found this bottle of wine that I went and gave to the security guard, this very nice gentleman that smiled to me at the beginning. And in the moment I gave this bottle of wine, I felt a chemical reaction in my body. I'll explain later what that meant, but I experienced something very positive. And this person told me, look, I've been here 3 years. Nobody has ever done this for me. I'm going to have a date night with my wife that I haven't done in so long. And this means a lot to me. Thank you so much. And that moment, completely changed my perspective of the situation. It boosted my well-being. It boosted my sense of agency. It boosted, my sense of purpose, and allowed me to move forward. And in 2 weeks, I had one offer for Berlin for a fantastic work, another offer for Vancouver with relocation, work permit for another fantastic organization. I signed the offer for Vancouver, but then I said, wait a minute, there's something very powerful that I experience here that I haven't been able to understand. And I started to dive deep into the research to talk with experts on these topics. And it turns out that there's more than 400 papers of research that show that one of the most powerful tools that you have as human is to do something kind for somebody else, that boosts your well-being, that there's actually a trigger that increases the level of oxytocin in your body. And there's actually a chemical reaction that happens when you do these acts of kindness. In summary, you don't have to be in United Nations to save the world. You can change the world every single day by doing small, simple acts of kindness, and that boosts your well-being. And actually, what research shows is that when you really mean these acts of kindness, you actually, as a giver of the act of kindness, receive even more benefits than the receiver. And there's even more experiments. There's another experiment with a professor from UBC and Harvard getting together. They gave even some funds to some people, and the people that went and spent that money on somebody else instead of themselves actually received a higher level of benefit of those experiments. And there's, I could go on and on.
Sure.
And at that moment, I was president of the AI Society at Oxford. And, I was always thinking, and I was seeing so many use cases of AI, and I was like questioning myself, like, do these use cases that I'm seeing all across the world really help humans, or just help the dollar sign? But why can't we use technology and AI to help humans? And that's when, things connected from that experience. And it's like, using AI to extend the human ability to do kindness is one of the most powerful things that you can do. And actually, a solution to the root cause of the most important problems that are happening right now at the workplace, where you have huge number of people not being able to deliver. It's not that they don't want to, but people are just not capable of delivering to their full capacity because of burnout, because we've been in very challenging years. Many of the things that can be resolved by getting people to do kindness at scale, and with our platform that includes a conversational agent that connects with every employee on the channels they already use, such as Slack or WhatsApp, and bringing a specific acts of kindness that people can do that just take a matter of seconds. And in that way, people start to, because what research shows is that doing kindness is like a muscle, and the more you do it, the better you feel. And that becomes that virtuous cycle that changes you internally, but at the same time, when you do it for a whole office, it changes the whole culture and work environment and brings an environment where everybody can create outstanding results. And that's what we do as a company. It came from me experiencing the product before it existed, and then creating, a full team that has been outstanding, that uses our product. We use our product that is fully remote and has created outstanding results at the highest stakes that I've seen for some of the early stage startups.
Oh, that's excellent. And I can very well see how that would be especially helpful for hybrid and remote teams, because they're not interacting as much in the office in person, hybrid teams and remote teams not at all. So that seems very helpful. Now, as we wrap up, are there any other things about KindWorks.AI or hybrid and remote work that we haven't yet discussed that you want to share with our audience before we finish up?
Yes, that many of these things are things that people already do in some extent. It's just you get lost into the day-to-day, right? There's always, urgent and important things. You're always trying to put off the fire. And it's easy to miss these ones. And what happens is that the human mind underestimates the impact that you can have in others, even doing very small, simple things. And at the same time, the human mind overestimates how awkward it's going to feel, how much effort it's going to take, right? How much time it's going to take. And that's where, our product in some way comes and aligns, those factors for people to just be able to do it on a very fluent and frequent way, and be able to practice their kindness in a way that's healthy for them and transforms their overall work environments.
Excellent. Thank you. That was very helpful. And I can very well imagine where KindWorks can be quite helpful for hybrid remote teams. Okay. Thank you for sharing that, Daniel. And thank you to the audience for checking out another episode of the Wise Decision Maker Show. I hope you subscribe to whatever channel you check this out, and it would be a kindness if you leave a review. It would help other people discover the show. It would help us improve the show. Always want to help us do that. Now, I look forward to seeing you in the next episode of the Wise Decision Maker Show. In the meantime, the wisest and most profitable decisions to you, my friends.